Hey photographer, Jessica Whitaker here, and in this lens comparison, we will be comparing the 24, the 35, the 50, the 85, and the 135 millimeter lenses. The exact lenses that we are using in this video will be linked in the description box below, as well as a coupon code for 5% off of your order at KEH Camera, who is sponsoring this video.
KEH Camera is where you can buy and sell used camera equipment. They have one of the world's largest selection of digital and film photography inventory. There is no reason to buy your camera equipment new when you can buy it very gently used at up to 40% off retail. Every piece of equipment that goes through KEH Camera is thoroughly quality inspected. KEH Camera will be linked down below, as well as a 5% off coupon code when you shop and a 5% bonus when you sell. All right, photographer, first I want to show you a side-by-side comparison of each focal length where I'm standing in the exact same spot. In the second half of the video, I will show you how I use each lens in different situations, but I think it's first important for us to familiarize ourselves with each focal length and the differences.
Look at this glass too. I mean, this is just untouched. And this is used, and you'll see with the 135 how beautiful it is as well. You don't need to buy new equipment when you can get used in perfect condition and like 40% off retail. It's amazing. I mean, this is perfect. This is so pretty. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Then here is our 135. I mean, this glass. All right, photographer, now that you've seen the different focal lengths side by side, we are going to now use each lens in the appropriate situation. Now, having 5 lenses is a little unrealistic for most of us. We maybe have 1 or 2, or maybe we're looking to add a second lens to our collection. So I'm not saying that I don't even have all 5 of these lenses. 2 of them are from KEH. It's more so you can see the different situations I would use each focal length in. So we're gonna begin with the 24 millimeter.
First up is the 24 millimeter. This is our widest lens. We will use a 24 millimeter to highlight the background since it can capture the most in the frame. The 24 millimeter is fantastic if you are wanting to really highlight the location and the environment, but you still want your subject to be the focus. I love the 24 millimeter for any kind of wide shots where I have an interesting building or framing and composition that I'm wanting to play up, such as with this building here. It can also create quite a cinematic look when you use it properly. If you are looking to add an ultra-wide prime lens to your collection for portrait photography, this is a great option. For reference, I'm filming the video with a 14 millimeter, which I think is too wide and almost creates a fisheye effect. It can still be fun, but I would opt for a 24 if you are doing a ultra-wide for the first time.
Okay, now we're gonna move into the 35 millimeter. We're inching our way towards the portrait lenses. So in this instance, the 35 millimeter is a lens. I've talked about it so many times. I love to use this for travel photography. If you're somebody, you want one lens to be able to take it with you on vacation where you can capture the environment and still get a bit of a portrait, the 35 is great. Now, it's not a portrait lens. It's still technically a wide angle lens. but it does have that versatility if you're looking for that.
Next is the 35 millimeter. I love this lens for travel. If I just want one lens to have on my camera an entire trip, this is it. Now, the magic of this lens is that it's still wide enough to incorporate a lot of the backgrounds. If you're traveling, you want to incorporate the architecture or the scenery, but it enables you to still get close up for portraits if you hold it right. It still is a wide angle lens, but lots of portrait photographers do include this in their kit. This is a great option if you want a wide angle lens, but you don't think that a 24 is versatile enough for you. Let's move into the 50 millimeter. We're now going into portrait focal length territory. The 50 millimeter is great for beginners because of the price point and the practicality. This lens is so versatile. You can use it for portraits, you can use it for product, you can use it just to document your children growing up. This is a great option if you just need one lens for your photography business or for personal use. This is also an affordable lens. There's different types of 50 millimeters out there. I'm using one of the more expensive ones, but you can get a 50 millimeter used on KEH camera for as low as $70. So I'm going to round up a ton of different options in the description box below for all of these lenses, but for the 50 millimeter specifically. Now we have the 85 millimeter. This is a true portrait focal length, and it's my personal favorite for portrait photography. It is gorgeous. It's going to compress your background so nicely. It's going to give you an even creamier background than the 50 millimeter. However, if you are constrained with distance, whether that is indoors or in a high walking traffic area such as the Brooklyn Bridge, you might find a bit of difficulty because you don't have a lot of wiggle room with this, but you can make it work with some patience and it will totally be worth it. Because the 85 is not a wide angle lens, it does not have as much distortion. It will not stretch your image or features as much as the other lenses might. So this means that this focal length is a lot more like what we see in real life. When we look in the mirror, the 85 millimeter emulates that. One of the reasons why it's great for portrait photography. This lens would also be perfect for full body photos if you are a blogger or if you own a boutique, or if you're doing family photos, engagements. This lens is a really good option for you to add to your camera bag. And this 85 millimeter that I'm shooting with is very, very sharp. All the lenses, again, will be linked in the description box below, but the 85 millimeter has lots of different price points as well. Like that of the 50 millimeter, there's lots of different price point options for the 85, and I will have a few different options for you linked down below with KEH camera. And another perk to buying used is that your money goes a lot further. So you might even be able to buy the higher quality, the fancier 85 millimeter used for the same price that you would have bought the middle tier 85 millimeter new. So just another perk to buying used. It's easier on your wallet and it's also better on the environment.
Now we are at the finale, and I thought that the finale could use a little reflector moment. So I have with me my collapsible reflector. This was featured in my 3 under 30 camera accessories. It's going to add a very gorgeous glow to our photo, and it's also going to fill in a bit of the shadows that are occurring as we're moving into golden hour. Here in the forest, we're covered in the trees, so you don't see much of golden hour, but the light is still really pretty. We have a lot of reflection coming from the cement as well as from the lake behind me. But this is just going to be really, really beautiful, especially with the 135. With this, it is so close up. I'm going to be focusing just on the face and having her hands around the face, the lashes, and these really beautiful little details.
The 135 millimeter is absolutely gorgeous for portrait photography. It's still quite versatile where you can do full body shots and you can also do beautiful close-up images like what we're doing here. However, you are the most constricted with space because this is our closest up lens. We have to have the most distance between us and our subject. However, this isn't a con at all. It's just something to keep in mind. You wouldn't have just a 135 in your collection. You might have a 135 and possibly a 50 millimeter. Another thing you can use a 135 for is detail shots. So whether that's with product photography or for wedding photography, such as photographing wedding rings, it's a beautiful lens. It just is not the most versatile, but you can still get so much use out of this lens, especially if you're going into portraiture or you're going into wedding photography. I would just say you wouldn't want to have this alone in your camera bag. You would want to pair it with something else, something a bit wider, such as a 50 or possibly a 35 millimeter.
Let me know in the comments down below, which lens did you prefer? What lenses do you have, and what lenses might you consider adding to your camera bag eventually? Make sure to check out KH Camera, link in the description box below. Don't forget I have a discount code. Be sure to hit subscribe so that you're the first to know when new free tutorials for your photography business come out. And if you want to join a kind, encouraging, and inclusive photography community, check out the Build and Bloom Photography group over on Facebook. You can follow along on Instagram at Jessica Whitaker for daily tips, tools, and resources for your photography business. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.